This YCN segment is brought to you by Mount Sunapee Resort. Fun for all seasons.
Welcome in, YCN Sports Talk. Jeremy Stout, and in studio today we have Dustin Ribellini. Dustin, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me back again.
Last time you were here, we were at Vermonto's.
Yeah, can we go back there?
Right, I know, that was a good spot. We were there last week with Andrew Zerhide, and today we've got Dustin in studio, and we'll be talking a lot of basketball, especially to start off. We'll get to some college basketball later, some local stuff, and then mixed in between, obviously, some baseball and football, wrapping up the football season, and then spring training is basically here. Pitchers and catchers have reported. Most teams' position players report Monday, I think it is, the 19th. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But first, jumping into the hardwood, into the basketball, All-Star break is here. It's not really the first half because the Celtics have played way more than half their games, as many teams have. But it's the wrap-up of the traditional first half, All-Star break. They play the Clippers. Celtics play the Clippers tonight. We'll get into the schedule and how their season has gone, but just a general overview of this first half. Pretty good for the Celtics.
Yeah, I think record-wise, better than you could have predicted, especially after Gordon Hayward went down, 6 minutes into the season. You know, sitting there in the second seed right now in the Eastern Conference, kind of slipping up the last week or so, losing a few games here and there. Overall, I think it's been a successful first half. You've integrated some of the new players. You've seen a lot of growth in the young players. I think Jason Tatum's had a first half that nobody could even think was going to happen. Al Horford doing what he does, a rightfully deserved all-star appearance. Kyrie Irving at times showing why he's that star player. I think some people need to realize that the start of 16-2, that was an aberration. That should not have happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have counted 5 to 6 games they should have lost for sure. But overall, very good first half. Confident going forward this year and for the rest of down the road next year.
Okay, so before we get into that second half, the last game, the one that's freshest in everyone's memory, that disappointing loss on Sunday to the Cavaliers. It was the big Paul Pierce night, or day rather. What do you make of that? And I'm not saying, I know a lot of people are saying the Cavaliers are back. We're not going to talk about that. Just that game. What do you make of it? Just a good game by the Cavaliers and a bad game by the Celtics all at the same time.
Yeah, a lot of times in sports when you see new pieces coming together, they have good games like this. The Cavaliers are good. They're going to be the team to beat going forward in the East. The Celtics didn't play well. Right. They just came out flat. We've seen them get behind a lot this season, which is concerning that they keep getting in these deficits. So it was just one of those days in the NBA where the better team probably that day was the Cavaliers. They won by 22 points. We've seen the Celtics beat the Cavaliers 3 weeks ago by almost the same score. So just a night in the NBA where your shots weren't falling and you really couldn't stop what the other team was doing.
And we've seen that all through. I mean, the regular season is a long regular season, 82 games. The Warriors have had some struggles lately. The Celtics, obviously, as you mentioned, struggling a little bit. And as you talked about that schedule, so they start the season 16-2, as you mentioned. And then leading up to and including that London game, the next stretch of games, they're 17-8, still pretty good. And then since then, they're 6-8. So what is that telling you going forward, or is it just, it's going to be a long season? They're not 16-2 team, but they're not a below 500 team.
Right.
Somewhere in the middle.
Right, I would agree. Like I said, you take that 16-2 start, they could have lost probably 6 of those games easily. So that makes them more like 11-7, 10-8, somewhere in there, and they're probably at about 32 wins right about now, which I think is where they are. I think they're a 50-win team, 52-win team, similar to last year, but they have more explosiveness. I think they have a better leader in Kyrie Irving. It makes Al Horford better. Jason Tatum's playing really well. So I think, they're not the best team in the East by far like they were at the start, but they're also not a below 500 team. They're kind of right in that middle, in that 2-3 range, which is where they sit right now.
Right. I mean, that Cavs game, like you said, there was a better team on the court that day, but going forward for the long haul, it's not that the Cavs are miles ahead of the Celtics like they were in that game.
Right.
Any concern, before we talk about second half, any concern with the younger players, Tatum, Brown, Rozier, just kind of hitting that wall? Do we pump the brakes a little bit in the second half of playing time and see how that goes?
With Tatum, I don't think so because he's stayed pretty consistent all year. Jaylen Brown's kind of the guy I worry about. He's been slumping big time. I think it was a 1 for 7 against the Cavs. You kind of wonder with his inconsistency if he can carry it over. I think Terry Rozier has provided a nice spark to that second unit. I just worry about Jaylen Brown come playoff time. Is he going to be the guy that can score you 10, 12, 15 points a game?
That's true. And quickly, before we hit the break, your grade for the first half, letter grade, and then just a quick outlook on that second half before the playoffs, regular season.
Given everything that happened, I have to give them about a A- for the first half because they should not have been as high as they were for the whole first half. Second half of the season, we got to see them play better ball. They can't play 500 the rest of the way, or I won't be confident going into the playoffs. So I want to see them starting tonight against the Clippers, end the first half well, start on a strong foot for the second half.
And still looking like a top 3 seed in the Eastern Conference, whether it be behind or ahead of Toronto, and then obviously the Cavaliers probably in that mix as well. So lots to go after the All-Star break with the Celtics. When we come back, we'll talk some baseball. Obviously, spring training, like I said, starting up this week and next week. Talk Red Sox and around the league, who's the team to be in the American League and National League. You're watching YCN Sports Talk.